Okay, here we are.
Hi.
Hi. We're heading to the beach in a few minutes. We are in Fort Lauderdale, just having finished EFT 1 and 2, and we are going to be doing matrix reimprinting next weekend.
Yep.
And taking a break. But we promised you that we would talk about this very important concept. What's that noise? Is that a bird?
No, it's something else.
Okay. All right. So we wrote a series of articles called the importance of being specific. Yeah, and so that's on our website, and you can get that information by going to www.efttappingtraining.com. Go to the resources section and then go to the articles section. There are 3 really great articles. We're getting a lot of great feedback about them. But now the follow-up question that everybody's got is,
how do you do it?
How do you do it? We know that that's the most important thing. I can't stress it enough. If you really want to be good with this, if you want to be the top of your game, if you want to be part of the 1%, cream of the crop, as an EFT practitioner, or if you don't want to waste your time tapping on yourself for your self-healing, you've got to master this concept.
Yeah, without being specific, it's kind of, it's like circling and it's like an airplane that can't land.
Yeah.
Right? You're like all the way there, you've gotten to the location you want to go, but you're just circling and you just can't seem to land.
Yep.
Oh, and just finally get there.
Right.
Right?
You just can't, and you're wasting valuable time. You are
and it creates even more disappointment.
Absolutely.
And frustration and overwhelm.
Then I hear people saying, it didn't work for me.
Right.
It didn't work for you because you weren't doing it right, or you didn't get a practitioner that was skillful enough to get you to where you needed to go, which was specific. So let's talk about what we mean by specific.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I want to break it up into 2 halves. Number 1 is if you're applying it to yourself.
Yeah.
Let's start there, and then if we're doing it with another person.
Correct.
Okay, so we'll build from there. So why be specific? We just mentioned it because you're going to get far better results. We've mentored thousands of people, and when they get it, they're like, oh my God, this is so much easier and so much more effective. Why didn't I learn this before? So just know that that's the way it is. Number 2, what does it mean to be specific? That's not that clear.
Right.
So I use the Polaroid effect. When you're working specifically, you're being really tight with, for an example, a particular experience that you've had that includes what, who, when. In other words, if I can take a picture of it, if I can take a picture of the time that my mom yelled at me for bringing home a progress report, and we were sitting at the kitchen table, there's a who, there's a what, there's a when, there's a picture. I remember a specific memory of Mom yelling at me for not doing my homework and bringing home the teacher's note, and we're at the table with that specific event, with that specific experience that we call a table leg. My mind goes right there. I feel the feelings about it. I feel it in my body. I feel the emotions. It's not thinking about the 100 times I didn't do my homework.
Right.
Which will overwhelm me.
Right.
And often cause me to get so emotional and just have my brain bouncing between all the times that happened. So getting specific makes me...
I just want to address one thing that you said.
Go ahead.
You said you have to have a who, when, and a where. That doesn't mean that you need to know it happened in 1995 at 3 p.m. in the afternoon.
Right.
It means I remember a time when that happened with Mom. If you have 100 times it happened with Mom, come up with the one time that stands out in your mind. And that's fine.
Yep.
And if you can't just think of one isolated time it happened with Mom, make it up. That's the secret.
Yeah, but let's go. Hold on, we're going to go over to the how we do that. Okay. So we're just on the what it
so
is.
What
specific is what
event.
happened, when, and who was there. That's usually enough.
Yes.
Okay. So now that we have that specific event,
yes.
Why are we doing it, and why it's like?
Oh wait, I got something else to say. So I know that he likes to have that Polaroid snapshot. Right, that Polaroid snapshot that I can time stamp if I were to remember the exact time and time and date and all that. I like to say that if you can start your sentence by the time when,
yeah, that works.
I know I'm specific enough.
Good.
Okay.
Why is it so important to do this?
Oh, but
because
no, refer them back to the article.
No, I just want to say, because when you do it this way, it will reduce your overwhelm, right? It doesn't allow us, we can handle thinking about one bad time.
Yeah.
When we try to think about the 100 bad times, or our brain does,
Yeah.
we melt down.
Yeah.
So that's one. Number two is when we're working, especially with like physical things, whether
Yeah.
it's a pain or
Yeah.
reflux or not sleeping or
Yeah.
the warts or whatever it is,
Right.
that the least effective way to
Yeah.
work with that physical discomfort or symptom is by,
Yeah.
even though I have these warts,
Right.
even though I have this upset stomach, even though I have this pain, even though I have this psoriasis,
Sure.
whatever it is, that is the least effective way to work with reducing a symptom.
Yeah, because it's just a symptom of something that's happening emotionally. And that something is an event. So I got this rash. I got this terrible rash. And Craig and I said, Craig, I need you to help me with this. And because sometimes you need some guidance. Can't see the forest for the trees.
And you could have said, I've been stressed lately. Okay, even though I've been stressed lately.
Yeah. Yeah, no
Okay.
good, no good. So we had to actually identify, or his asking me questions had me reveal, oh, this is about our dog dying. So we did a lot of tapping on that event, moments in that event, because there were many.
Right.
So that's what it's about, is finding those events. Okay.
Okay, go think about it.
Hold on. I think we broke up.
Yeah?
Okay. Yeah. Now we're back.
So, how do we find those events? Where are those events?
Those
okay.
mysterious
I don't know. I don't know what it was. I can't think of an event. I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
And we hear that all the time.
All the time.
So let's give you some answers to that. What's one event? What can we start with that's the simplest way?
How about right now?
This is an event?
This is an event.
I mean, you and I sitting here right now on the couch
Yeah.
feeling this thing I'm working on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so right here, right now, feeling this
Yeah.
pain, this anxiety, this whatever it is.
Well, let's not say pain, because people get confused.
Exactly, yeah. So let's go.
Emotion.
Yeah, thank you.
Emotion. Anger, sadness, fear, shame, guilt, embarrassment, disgust, or better yet, your word for what you're feeling.
And by the way, just everybody, and Jeanette, and Adrian, and Lauren, everybody, just thanks for joining
hi.
us. Hope you hang out with us for a little bit. We'll be here about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, we need to get to the beach.
I know. Okay, the sun's out. All right, so right here, right now is an event. Good to know. Okay, when else is there an event? Well, we can go forward in time.
You mean I can make up an event?
Yeah, like when's the next time that you're likely to feel that way?
Oh, there's probably a who, when, and where in that.
Yeah, so if it's anxious, how about the next time that I have to do a Facebook Live event and I'm feeling anxious about that?
Yeah.
Can I imagine sitting at home at my office doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I start thinking that, oh, boy, start feeling the heart race and,
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's an imagined future event.
Right. And the more specific you can be, the better. So I see myself in my office picking up my phone next week. That's an event. There's a who, when, and where.
Got it. Okay, so that's 2 events right there. That's
Yes.
not hard.
Yes.
What's another one?
How about recent?
Mean like the last time it happened?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's an ongoing problem in my life, then it's probably happened more than once.
Yep.
And if I just, if I try to think of the biggest or the worst, which I hate hearing, it can be overwhelming. So how about just, what's the last time?
Last time it happened?
Perfect.
Sure.
That's usually
I think
accessible.
it happened last week. Is that enough?
Okay.
I think it happened last week. Is that enough for me to start?
No, you got to get a little tighter.
Okay, so I think it happened last week, maybe on a Friday.
Okay.
Because I always have meetings on Friday, so that's probably when it could have
Got
happened.
it. So we're modifying the past recent event with a little bit of make it up.
Yeah.
So in other words, just imagining when was the last time this happened. I don't know. It happens every week. So it was probably last week, probably at the office.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, there was.
Yeah.
That's funny. Last week at the office, now that I'm thinking about it and saying that.
Yes.
And most of the time when you start to make it up, you can actually start to feel almost like, oh, I do remember. But I didn't feel the pressure because I started making it up. That happens all the time.
Happens all the time. So why are we suggesting now as the event and then future and recent as a way to start? Because guess what? That's what you remember. That's what you have access to.
Yep.
That deep, dark stuff in your subconscious from childhood, of course you're not going to remember it right away because your psyche is still protecting you. And so get tapping. Get tapping. The way to stir and bubble things up to the surface is to tap. And even if you start on a made-up future event or what likely happened last week or a month ago, is enabling your psyche to say, oh, this works. I feel safe. And here you go. Here's an event from your childhood that you can work on.
Great.
Yeah.
And I also just want to say, hey, Mort in the Philippines, great work out there. Keep it up. We look forward to seeing you.
Helen, Dee Dee,
Yep.
Adrian, nice to have you here.
Yep. And Sean, welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to beyond working with yourself, because there's a lot of practitioners on the line.
Yep.
Right? So, we do a lot of mentoring for people that are going through certification and supervision for practitioners. And would you say still this is the number one issue for improvement that you're working with?
Even at the trainer level.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we're teaching trainers, even at the advanced level, I can just expect it with the beginning level practitioners. And so here's the thing. We're getting that challenge from people that have taken trainings, that have attended 3 or 4 days of learning EFT. So if you're out there on your own and you still haven't really grasped this, or you're having a hard time, know that it's universal. It's universal, even for people that have taken the training, even for people that we mentor, even for people that we are constantly writing emails back to and saying, you got to be more specific. It's happening every single day with our students.
So we came up with some quick tips. By the way, in case you think we don't have notes, I took some notes. I do that, right? Because there's so many things we could say. So, so the first thing that I wanted to say is, number one, forgetting. Like, we always train, use your client's words, right?
Yeah.
And they say, oh my God, my life, God, it's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you want to use their words, okay, let's just tap. Okay, even though my life is so overwhelming.
Well, hold on. That's sneaking up, isn't it?
It can be sneaking up, but it's used purposefully. Unfortunately, sometimes the sessions stay at that level of circumnavigating up at 30,000 feet.
Right.
And they never use that to get specific.
Yeah.
So, first is remembering to get specific.
And, okay, I'm sorry. I have to interrupt again.
Yeah, you can interrupt all the way.
All right.
You do that.
If somebody sits down in front of you at your office and says, I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Yes. We can tap with that.
Wait, hold on. Unless they're saying it in a way that you truly feel like, wow, I need to take some intensity off. We're going to head in big T trauma territory. I need to take some of the intensity off. I challenge half of you out there, EFT practitioners and our students and mentees, to keep asking questions. Don't stop with, I'm overwhelmed, and let's go tap on that.
Exactly.
Again, it's wasting time. Unless you absolutely need to take that intensity off because they're so activated by the things that you're seeing them, the physiological signs, or they're like, something about it you notice it's really, really strong. Otherwise, just cut to the chase and keep asking questions. Get to events. What's making you feel overwhelmed? What part of your life feels overwhelming? Your husband? Great. Tell me what he does that feels so overwhelming. Oh, great. He always forgets to take the garbage out. Great. Can you tell me the last time that happened? When is it likely to happen in the future? Bingo. You got an event.
Okay, so you role play for a second. Go ahead and ask me. I'm coming in and I'm really stressed out about work.
Yeah, okay.
You know what? I just feel like I'm not making enough money and things are stressful at work.
Okay.
And I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Okay. So what about work? If we could just break that up into different things, what about what's happening at work feels overwhelming?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just everything. I don't have a specific event.
I'm not asking you for that because I'm not using jargon.
Oh, okay.
That's something else we have to get to. Okay, so
I don't know.
It's all channeling my inner
all the time. It's just stressful all the time.
I get that. It's so overwhelming all the time. When's the last time something happened at work that was overwhelming?
God, I mean, like probably 10 times this week.
Right, great. Pick one for whatever reason, because we need to just tease out that neural network. Let's just pick one time.
okay, fine. My boss told me I had to have something done in an hour that was going to take 24 hours to finish.
Okay. And so when did he tell you that? How did you know that he was telling you that?
Oh man, he did that actually in front of my coworker, the new guy.
Yeah.
And I just felt totally ashamed because I couldn't say anything in front of the other guy, and I just wanted to smack him. I couldn't. Oh.
So was it an email, a phone call?
No, he came right up in front of me into the cubicle.
Oh, great.
And my the trainee was right next to me.
Great.
And I couldn't say anything because.
Yeah. So tell me, how do you feel about that? What's the emotion?
Pissed.
As you're feeling it now, pissed.
Pissed.
0 to 10.
8.
Where do you feel it in your body?
My fists.
Great. So even though I feel pissed in my fist.
Even though I feel pissed in my fist.
Okay. You got it.
Okay.
Do you see?
Now, what happens when somebody says, I can't think of a time?
Yeah.
Do you go, okay, guess they can't think of a time. Let's move on.
No, don't quit. Don't quit.
But they don't have an event.
And stop asking about, can you pick a specific event? That's jargon. Your clients aren't going to jive with that. They're not going to really know, or they're going to feel that pressure. I got to come up with an event.
Okay. So if I say I can't think of a time.
Yeah.
What might be a few ways?
When's it likely to happen again?
Okay. All right. Well, let me think on that.
Okay.
And if I can't think of one that way, then how else?
Yeah.
What's another way to ask?
So when is it likely to happen? You can't think of anything likely to happen?
Well, I'm just making up that I absolutely can't. Right? I'm blocked.
Okay. So then how about the last time it happened?
Okay. All right. So I'll try to come up with something there.
Okay.
And other ways to ask is the last time it happened. Look, if this is an ongoing problem in your life, has it only ever happened one time?
Right.
Well, no, it happens.
Right.
Fine. So, you don't have to pick the perfect time.
Sure.
Just tell me what it's like to be you with regard to this issue.
Right.
Tell me, a time that reminds you of this issue we're talking about. Tell me about,
stuff around my mom,
Stuff with your mom?
Yeah, it reminds me of my mom's stuff.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I know. I'm getting this insight that it's because she really didn't love me unconditionally.
Wow. I'm just wondering, how do you know your mom didn't love you?
It was just the way, her whole entire demeanor and energy, I could just tell she didn't love me.
Huh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Can you remember a time that you felt that demeanor and energy that felt like she didn't love you?
No, it just happened all the time.
Happened all the time.
Yeah.
All right, you know what? If it happened all the time, just make something up. So give me a time that sometime you may have felt that with her, even if you can't remember exactly, just make an example up how that might have felt, you feeling from her that she didn't love you.
Yeah. So there was a time period between ages 10 and 11 somewhere where, I was chronically ill.
There were times when you were chronically ill.
Yeah.
Were there any times when you were feeling sick and ill that you felt that your mom didn't love you?
Oh, for sure.
How did that show up?
Yeah, she just ignored me and said, "You're fine."
Oh, I'm sorry. Tell me. So, would she have done that? Would you be sick at home? Would she? How would that have happened?
Yeah, I probably sick at home.
So you might
watching
have been,
TV.
You might have been sick at home watching TV, being sick.
Yeah.
And your mom just would do what?
Yeah, just ignore me.
She would just ignore you.
Yep.
Can you imagine a time that you're just in bed, your mom's ignoring you, you're sick in bed watching TV?
You mean pick one?
Yeah. Well, no. Just can you imagine that happening?
Oh, sure. I
Sure.
can
Okay.
imagine it happening.
So right now, thinking about being sick in bed,
Yeah.
your mom's ignoring you, you're
Yeah.
watching TV.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Sad.
How intense is that sadness right now?
10.
10. Where do you feel that in your body?
In my heart.
Beautiful. Even though? Bum, 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 bum.
Okay, and then I'm tapping on the sadness, the sadness.
Basic EFT.
Oh, I'm actually remembering one time.
You are?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, it was actually my birthday.
Oh, so it was your birthday.
That happens all the time. So having your client make it up. And of course, underscore that they're the ones making it up.
You're not.
Yeah, you're not. You're getting into dangerous territory if you're making it up. As
Yeah, was there a time on a special event that your mother expressed to you that she didn't love you in front of people?
Leading your client. No. Okay, so I think that we have...
Giving up too quick, don't use jargon, other ways of asking, allowing spaciousness, allowing them not to figure out the exact time by imagining, and just, don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be the perfect time, it doesn't have to be the first time, it's whenever it was. Just, what was that like? And imagining. That's a great way.
Yes.
Those were all the tips we had.
Is there any
For now.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, that's
Do you have
actually
any
good.
questions? Go ahead and ask. We're just going to be here a couple more minutes, and we're winding it down. Do you see the Well, go back to those articles. Those articles are really in depth. 3 articles at EFTtappingtraining.com under articles. The last 3 articles that we wrote. It was on a series just on the importance of being specific. But do you have any questions on how to get there? How to get there. And I know we all want to strike gold. We want to get to that core issue. A core issue, by the way, is an event really early on in your life that just kind of set up this whole core belief. Yep. So we all want to get there.
Right.
But it's
How about
not,
on a first session?
No, you don't need to do that on a first session.
You don't have to hit a grand slam to be effective with EFT?
Sometimes that's dangerous.
Yeah, it is, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, going too deep, too quick before they're ready. But what if they brought it up?
Well, maybe. Depends.
Yep.
Do you have rapport, connection, and trust with your client? Do you feel like you can handle that big T trauma? Or are they actually bringing it to you? Right?
Yep. Yeah.
So that's part of it. That's part of it.
So what's the chalkboard question that you love so much?
Nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah,
nails on a chalkboard for me. Now that I'm very well trauma informed. No, I don't think that's right. Trauma informed. I'm trauma informed now. I wish I could go back to every client I had my first year in practice because I was not trauma informed. And a trauma informed practitioner is one that works safely. And when you ask the question, what was the worst time? What was the first time? A few things might happen. They'll say, I don't know. Why? Going back to the beginning of this talk about the psyche doesn't feel safe with you yet. That's why it's not presenting that. A more gentle way is to tap on recent, current, future, and allowing those spontaneous events to just bubble up to the surface. They will. So the worst and the first time, that
doesn't mean that they're not powerful.
Yeah.
Right? The worst and first times, of course, hold a lot of juice and set up patterns.
Right.
But the process that we're talking about is getting there gently and safely, especially when they're regarding trauma.
Absolutely. You got to hold on to that until, again, safety, rapport, connection is there, and they feel like the process is really working.
Yeah. And that's actually something, just as an FYI, there's the Tapping Out of Trauma course, if that's something you're interested in, just starts in 2 weeks.
Yep.
So you can check that out. And we have a free call coming up, too, on
Friday.
On this Friday, the relationship between shame and trauma.
Yes, exactly.
As well. So you should see that all over Facebook, and
exactly.
You can PM us if you want to register
right.
and haven't. Yeah.
So if you're doing this as self-help, please be persistent with finding those events. The minute you start tapping on recent, future, right now how you're feeling, you give your subconscious the opportunity to allow those events from the past to surface. Yeah. So just start on any list that you can come up with. Even if you just remember 3 events in your childhood, tap on those. And those will allow you to, oh, wait, I'm remembering something else. Do not do big T traumas on your own. What do we mean by big T traumas? Sexual abuse, physical abuse, natural disaster, witnessing violence, being in an accident, being in a surgery as a child. All those we categorize as big traumas that you shouldn't do on your own. So that's for self-help, and for those of you as practitioners, we want to make you better. We want to support you in like kicking ass, being the best practitioners that you can be. And the way to do that is to get to specific events. Right. And so be persistent. What was the list? Be persistent. Keep asking open-ended questions. Make sure you have a who, when, and a where, or the time when.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say too, the mark that also, because you could also tap down intensity.
Yeah.
Even on being global in general.
Yeah.
But you know what is even more effective is that when you are specific, how about testing? We haven't even mentioned the importance of and the ease of being able to test a specific event. I was just reviewing a case that had something to do with somebody's, sadness over something.
Yep.
Sadness over a person.
Yep.
And you know what? After they tapped, they felt much less sad. But you know what? If that person went in and then started testing different events and different aspects of the person's relationship, I bet that the sadness would be right back up again.
Yep.
Because you can't really test that. What you can do is you can test a specific event. Really tuning in, thinking about that event, closing your eyes and imagine, oh, you know what? There's still something there.
Yeah. Oh, you mean when they're down?
Right. So when they get really low,
Yeah.
you can start to find what other aspects that didn't emerge when you were just tapping.
Right.
So the ability and ease to test a specific event
Yep.
is much easier than a global issue of like the relationship with dad.
Yeah.
Or my ex or whatever it is, right?
Yes. And those of you that are also doing this for self-help, don't be discouraged thinking I've got to tap on 150,000 events. You don't, because there is something called the generalization effect.
Right.
But you have to start somewhere on events. Great, I think that's it. I think we really want to head to the beach.
We're going to head to the beach. Dee Dee, I'll put the links underneath this.
But it's tappingoutoftrauma.com, and then go to the free webinar section.
Yeah, so on the homepage you can register for the training.
Yeah.
And if you go up to the top to the upcoming webinars, you'll see that listed on top, and I'll post the link underneath there.
Great. And if you have any questions, just keep asking in this thread, and we'd be happy to answer them. So have a great day.
All right.